In the first century, global power had a very specific, undeniable definition. It looked like marching legions, sprawling marble senate houses, endless taxation, and brutal military force. Then a single carpenter from a dusty backwater province stepped onto the stage. He held absolutely no political office. He commanded 0 troops. He possessed no personal wealth. Yet the Roman elite and the highest religious authorities soon found themselves terrified of him. He didn't build an army to challenge the empire. Instead, he wielded a type of authority that bypassed human hierarchies entirely, directly defying the physical laws of reality. We are going to examine 3 specific, documented historical events where he systematically proved his absolute mastery over the inescapable limits of human life. These 3 moments form a calculated, escalating demonstration of divine authority. To understand the Sea of Galilee, you have to know it is a geographic trap. Surrounded by hills, it is notorious for catching sudden, violent downdrafts that turn the water deadly in minutes. In the dead of night, a furious squall catches a crew of experienced fishermen completely off guard. Massive waves crash over the sides of their small wooden boat, and these hardened men realize they are about to drown. The wind is screaming, the boat is snapping under the pressure, and right in the middle of this absolute chaos, Jesus is asleep in the stern. Panic-stricken, the crew wakes him. He doesn't grab a bucket to start bailing water. He simply stands up, looks at the raging sky, and speaks 3 words: "Peace, be still." Instantly, the shrieking wind drops to 0. The churning, violent waves flatten out into smooth glass. The fishermen sit there in dead silence, whispering to each other. Who is this, that even the wind and the waves obey him? This is a Tier 1 display of power. The fundamental elements of the physical earth are proven to be totally subordinate to his voice. He dictates the external world. We move from the chaotic sea to the sunlit, dusty streets of ancient Jerusalem. Here, we meet a man who has lived in absolute darkness, blind since the day he was born. At the time, the prevailing cultural belief was entirely unforgiving. If you had a lifelong affliction, it meant God was actively punishing you for a sin. Jesus approaches him, but he uses a highly unorthodox method to heal. He spits into the dirt, mixes it to create mud, and gently presses it over the blind man's clouded eyes. He tells the man to go wash his face in the pool of Siloam. The man obeys, and as the crystal-clear water washes the mud away, the biological damage reverses. For the very first time in his life, his eyes process color and sunlight. Furious religious leaders drag the man in for interrogation, desperate to discredit the moment. The man's reply dismantled their entire argument. "I was blind, but now I see." Jesus bypassed the era's harshest theological myth by literally rewriting human biology. His authority had escalated from the external environment to the internal human body. 2 miles east of the city sits the village of Bethany. Here, we hit the ultimate wall of human existence, mortality. A man named Lazarus has been dead and sealed inside a stone tomb for 4 solid days. Biological decay has already set in. This is entirely beyond the scope of any medical resuscitation. Yet the most striking detail of this moment is the emotional vulnerability. Jesus possesses the cosmic authority to bend reality, but when he sees Lazarus' sisters completely broken by grief, he stops and physically weeps with them. He approaches the grave, commanding the heavy stone to be rolled away. The crowd gasps as the smell of death spills out. Jesus stares into the pitch-black cave and shouts, "Lazarus, come out." The crowd freezes. A man, tightly wrapped from head to toe in white burial linens, slowly steps out of the darkness and into the sun. The absolute finality of human mortality had to yield to the voice of its creator. We have just watched a single figure systematically conquer the chaos of nature, reverse lifelong biological damage, and defeat death itself. But look closely at the central paradox. The Roman emperors we saw earlier used their massive power to conquer territories, oppress their enemies, and extract wealth. Jesus wielded ultimate authority exclusively for pure compassion. He never performed a miracle as a theatrical parlor trick. He targeted his power to rescue terrified fishermen, give sight to the marginalized, and comfort a grieving family. This exact compassion and the authority that restored sight and life continues to reach into the most desperate human circumstances today. If you believe in the active power of Jesus Christ, drop an amen in the comments below. Share this message with someone who needs a reminder of that power today, and follow for more truth from history. God bless you.